Hello friends, welcome back to the channel. In today's video, I want to cover a topic on doing a deck adjustment on your lawn tractor. I have a Cub Cadet 50-inch, but something I've noticed over the years is that many of these lawn tractors are kind of built similar. So even if you don't have a Cub Cadet, you might get something out of today's video. So I'm going to be covering both how to adjust the pitch on the deck. That's going to be from front to rear. And then I'm going to be talking about also doing the deck adjustment side to side, so left to right. And then I'm going to talk about how you can go about also leveling your deck wheels as well. So by the time we're finished with this video, your deck should be nice, well and leveled, and you might even notice that you're cutting your grass a little bit better as well. So let's go ahead and get into it. What I did here, here's my chute. And so what I did was I rotated the blade to where it pretty much, this is the blade that's closest to the chute. And I rotated it in a way where it's pretty much parallel to the actual tractor, okay? And because what I want to do here, I'm going to try to zoom in here for you a little bit better, is see the rear of the blade back there? The rear tip of the blade to the front tip of the blade here, okay? You need to make sure that your tractor is parked on a level surface, and then measure the distance in between the ground to that rear tip of the blade to that front tip of the blade. For my tractor, which is a Cub Cadet 50-inch, they want my front tip of the blade to be a little bit lower than the rear tip of the blade. And they're saying that they want that front tip of the blade from the ground to be about 1/4 inch to 3/8 inches lower than the rear tip of the blade. So as I make my pitch adjustments, I'm not going to get too overzealous with it. I'm going to come back here and re-measure these, and that'll kind of let me know, if I've over tightened, maybe back off on it a little bit, or maybe I haven't tightened enough. So that's kind of where I'm taking my measurements to see as I tighten my stabilizer bar, which I'll be showing you here. That'll let me know, how accurate I am. Okay, so I went ahead and completely took off the stabilizer bar right here. So this is the main piece that is going to raise that deck up, right? By tightening these nuts here, you're going to end up raising this deck up as far as raising the pitch of it up. But right now it's sitting on the ground. The other piece of this is this end right here. This is going to be hooking into the actual deck right here. See, and you can see that hole right there on the end of it. But there's a hole in here as well, and that is going to fasten to the deck with this cotter pin in here, okay? And then again, this in here, you're going to tighten to the actual frame right up here, okay? So that's what we're doing. Real easy. So the more that you want to raise the pitch of this deck, you're actually going to loosen this outer nut here, and then you're going to tighten this smaller one right here, okay? And you're going to be doing it against this washer right here, okay? That's to raise this thing up. The opposite would be true if you had too much of a pitch in the deck and you wanted to lower it. And then of course, when you have the right leveling for your needs, you'll then want to tighten this outer nut all over again, and then you should be secure. So as you can see, we're all tightened up. Again, this outer nut right here, you want to make sure that you tighten that all the way back, so that way it's nice and secure. This is the nut here that's actually in charge of either loosening or tightening this stabilizer bar, okay? So we're all good there. There's the cotter pin, right? And we're looking much, much better here. We're looking way better here. You can just tell even by looking at the deck wheel. My rear is a little bit higher off the ground than the front wheel, but not
drastically. I also went and remeasured the end of the blade tip down in there compared with the front of the blade tip, and same thing, the rear point of the blade tip to the ground is just a little bit higher than the front. So, and then you can see the overall deck, it's raised up just enough to. Okay, so very similar to how you adjust the pitch, very similar to adjusting the side-by-side leveling of the deck. So in this case, I now have the blade coming out of the chute here. I now have the blade perpendicular to the tractor versus going parallel when I did the adjustment for the pitch rear to front. We're now doing side to side, and then so the blade is actually perpendicular now, okay? And so I already took measurements from the point tip of the blade to the ground, okay? And then I did the same on the other side here. I did the same on the other side here as well. You're not gonna be able to see that. I really can't get up in there, but I did that as well on the other side. And so my side to side is actually pretty even. So there was nothing for me to have to adjust there. But in case you did need to make an adjustment, in case those were off, let me show you how that's done. So this is basically what they call the lift adjustment rod. It's towards the rear. And this is actually gonna lift the deck up versus the pitch. This is gonna work on your equaling out your side by side, okay? And so very similar to the stabilizer bar in the front, you're gonna loosen this nut, and then here is where you're gonna do all your adjusting, okay? So for most Cub Cadets, most of the leveling is done on the left adjustment rod, so it'd actually be on the other side. But both are the same. Both look the same. Here's the one on the left, see? Same type of deal. And for most Cub Cadets, from what I've seen, most of your adjusting is going to come on the left side, but you can do both. So for instance, you wanted to raise the left side of the deck, you would again loosen this up, and then you'd want to turn this nut clockwise, okay? And so basically by you turning the nut clockwise, you're going to be raising this left side of the deck here, okay? And of course the opposite's true. If you wanted to lower this side of the deck, same thing, but you'd go counterclockwise on this nut right here. Okay, so you also want to check the other side over here and make sure that you're doing the same thing. So at the end of the day, you'll then come back and you'll take your measurements, right, from the tip of the blade on both the right side and left side of the deck, and that's how you know that you are in balance. And that's pretty much all there is to it. Now, before you go trying to adjust the actual deck wheels, you want to make sure that your pitch done first, along with what we just covered as far as the side-to-side measurements of the deck as well. Those need to be done first before you need to go worrying about your deck wheels. So if you verified that those other measurements were good, the first thing before I would go trying to adjust any deck wheel is make sure that my tire pressure is where it needs to be. Because if that tire pressure is off, it's going to throw off your measurements, okay? So now, if you need to make a adjustment to the deck wheel, first of all, what I have done in the past is I would put this deck lift lever all the way in its highest position. So for me, that's number 4, okay? And basically what you can do is you can go ahead and unloosen this flange nut here and this shoulder bolt, okay? Here's the other side of it. And this goes for all the wheels. This will come off, and then in behind here, you can see it, there's holes, right? There's other holes where that bolt can go through, okay? And so you can adjust these. So you'll want to go ahead and put that bolt and that flange nut back through. Maybe you need to lower it. Maybe you need to, make it higher, whatever that is. When you're redoing your measurement, they'll actually say to put it back in the desired mowing height, okay? Which is usually about a 1/2 inch off the ground. So by the time you're said and done, you probably want about a 1/2 inch clearance, that being the bottom of the deck wheel to the ground as far as a clearance setting. I know everybody's different. Some people like a little bit less. Some people like a little bit more. I think it also depends on the type of land that you have, your lawn, hills and valleys and things like that. I tend to kind of keep mine set a little bit higher than that from the ground just because it's very bumpy and very hilly out here, okay? But that's basically how you would do that for all the deck wheels. So again, don't attempt to do the deck wheel piece until you have fixed the pitch of the deck, and then you equal out the side-to-side measurements of the deck first. But yeah, once you have your pitch, once you have your side-to-side, and then you have your deck wheel measured out equally amongst all 4 of them as far as clearance goes, you're going to be set. Your deck's going to be in tip-top shape. Probably even make your lawn look a little bit better.
So friends, that is it. We should have a pretty well-leveled deck now. If this is your first time to the channel, think about subscribing. If you like today's video, please give us a like. And feel free to leave any comments. We will get back to you soon. Take care.